All right, ready to get started? Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Magic office here in downtown Westminster. We are also live on Facebook, and this is One Million Cups. Before we get started, if you're on Facebook and have a comment for any of today's presenters, feel free to drop it in the chat. We'll read it out loud. And if you're here, coffee is provided by the American Ice Cafe, just a few doors down, and Jeannie Birds is providing baked goods just next door. All right, so I know we're eager to hear from from today's presenters, see what's going on in the community. But before we do that, I'm just going to go over what we're all about here at 1MC. So the mission of 1MC is to lower the barrier for access to education, resources, and connections for entrepreneurs. Without our great community and our core mission, we cannot accomplish this. So we're looking for presentations, not pitches. Connection, not networking. We're really for the community, by the community. We really want to get to know your business and the challenges that you face, so we can connect you to all of the resources that we have here. Nobody has ownership of 1MC. Nobody is paid to do 1MC in Westminster. And we are radically and intentionally inclusive. And if you want to help organize, present, help coach, feel free to reach out to us. We're always looking for other like-minded entrepreneurs and business professionals. We meet every week, Wednesdays at 9 a.m. We have 2 presenters whenever possible. Today we'll be doing community updates. Presenters' organization should be less than 5 years old and willing to ask for help, because we end every presentation with the question, what can we as a community do to help you? And here's our organizing team: Graham Dodge, Russ Hammock, Vicki Slinkman, John Wheatman, Tina Thomas, myself, Julia Stepp, and Gabby Rose. And with that, I guess I will pass it over to Graham.
All right, so our presenter this morning, what were they called again?
Alpha Bravo First Aid.
Alpha Bravo First Aid. They could not make it today. The last minute, they had their power go out because of the storm yesterday. I'm sure they're dealing with a whole bunch of chaos, so our hearts go out to
My
the
power
founder.
went out, I'm here.
What's that?
My power went out, I'm here. I'm just kidding.
It's a thing.
Mine flickered and I'm here. I was here early. So we're gonna do all community updates today. So if you're watching this on Facebook Live, you're like, oh, today's my day to say something. You better rush over here quickly. Magic has a community update, pretty big for us. We have taken over the lease of the old Kip's Auto behind the Westminster, this furniture store across the street here at 31 West Main Street rear. So it's like the back 2/3 of the building. It's 5,600 square feet. So that we could build what we're calling ARIC, the Autonomous Robotics Innovation Center. And this is all thanks to a generous grant from the Knorr Brake Company. So we applied for their Global Care Grant, which, as we understand it, gets chosen locally here first, and then basically sent through a whole committee that goes all the way up to the top to the owner of Knorr Brems in Germany, who then makes the final decision. So, thank you to Knorr Brake Company and all the local employees here who had a say in approving our grant. And this is what our vision for this is going to look like. So this is what Knorr Brake saw. This is a rendering of what the outside of the building looks like. So maybe if you understand where we are now, O'Lorden's is like to the back of you with the parking garage right there. From this perspective, the old Stocksdale garage the city owns now, where the winter markets have been, is over here on the right. So this is the parking lot, part of the parking lot for the Stocksdale garage. So it's all of this starting from these larger windows forward and all the way to the end here. About 5,600 square feet. It's owned by the Johansson family, so we're leasing it from them. Oh. And what was that?
I was wondering how the number you could buy it. I was thinking you bought it.
Oh no, we didn't buy it.
That's what didn't make any sense.
Yeah. No, and they're being very flexible with the terms so that A, it's affordable for us, and B, they can accommodate some time for us to actually fix it up and make it suitable for hosting students and project-based learning initiatives. So obviously we're going to feature the Knorr Bremse or Knorr brake, whichever one they would want us to use, logo and the signage. This is just a rough, idea what it could look like. Our graphic designer, Lauren Sangelson, is actually doing a nice treatment of it. This is the Duckytown logo. And just to explain real quick what Duckytown is. So this is the inside of what we are imagining. Again, this is a rendering. So this is all Photoshop. But this is a photo of the inside of that space. It's completely open. There's no columns. So you have this big, wide open space. And we have, where is the Ducky bot?
Oh, behind you?
In the back again?
Yeah. Maybe I was being organized.
right here.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
So, hold on. Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain. So, Duckytown is a project out at MIT. It's a platform for teaching autonomous robotics and computer vision and that kind of stuff. So we acquired a small kit with one of these robots called DuckyBot. I think we paid about $300 for it. They sell for about $400 online. We got it from a guy, an engineer in Virginia, who had bought this kit. It's called the MOOC kit, massive online something. Anyway, it comes with like a 6 foot by 4 foot, 6 foot by 9
6
foot,
by 10.
6 by 10 set like this stuff. And it's all taped to be roads. And then this guy sits on there and drives around and uses computer vision and proximity sensors to understand where things are and drives autonomously. So you basically just run the code in Python and it does its own thing. So they make sets that are 20 foot by 40 foot, and you can buy up to like 30 DuckyBots to go along with that. So that's what part of our grant is going to afford us, the giant DuckyBot set. And we're not going to just do Duckytown and DuckyBots. We're also going to include G-gauge, Lionel gauge trains, because we want to kind of recreate Main Street here and the railroad intersection, because railroads provide unique challenges for autonomous vehicles. So, and from a regulatory perspective as well, with freight and trucks and stuff. So we want to create Ducky Train, which is going to incorporate all these sort of smart railroad systems into the DuckyBot framework. And Duckytown Foundation has invited us to become an official partner of theirs. And we would be one of the only non-university, non-academic, accredited academic partners. And we would be essentially leading the development of how the DuckyBot framework and platform interacts with trains. So we're really excited about that. And that way this becomes more of a big train garden that people can come see during the holidays, and we can have a lot more usability for it besides the kids who are interested in the robotics functions. So this is a little bit more about, this is what some of the other Duckytown stuff looks like, which I just showed you. We also want to create a project called Ghost Cart that would function, that would run out of this facility, where we're going to have a team of students, maybe high school, but probably college students, convert a go-kart to be autonomous. And our long-term vision is to then host like a Westminster Grand Prix of autonomous go-karts running down the streets and have the students who created them to also race against them. So you could have a combination of manual drivers and autonomous drivers, which could be a lot of fun. So this is a project, I think, out of Sweden or somewhere in 2019. A team of university students did this. They converted a go-kart to be autonomous. So we know it can be done. And we have the brain trust here locally in Westminster to do that with the industry sector we've got here. And then we also have invited the Pi3, PiCube Robotics organization and their Robo Lions to have a residency in this space. So we met with Rose Young yesterday, or was it 2 days ago? Yesterday, and so they're already thinking about how they can kind of occupy the space and keep certain equipment there, and also utilize the massive sort of indoor space to do some demonstrations of what their robotics teams have been able to create. So that's it. So that's the update from Magic. Any questions about ARC or any of this stuff? Tina?
Where do Pi3 currently come?
They are in Finksburg, they're kind of far afield, far flung in it's a dump truck company that has a big facility back behind a trailer park. So they're kind of right now, they're sort of stuck between a trailer park and a dump truck business. and not to disparage it, they love it, and they put a lot of money into renovating their space, but it's not enough space for them. So they are gladly accepting the offer to have space here in town. And who knows, maybe that becomes more of a maybe they end up using it more over time and end up moving more of their programs to that space. There's plenty of room for it. We've also reached out to local businesses like Lansing Air Autonomy, Robotic Research and RRAI, DDT. DDT has committed to providing suites of their VXSim software for students at ARC to play with, which is their digital twin software that they have built for the US Navy. And they are thinking about how they're going to do a scan of the inside of the space so that we have a digital twin of the whole space. And that will open up the idea to have people remotely programming robotics inside the space with permission, of course, when granted access to then have these robots, have people from around the world contribute to the code base and things like that. So, any other questions?
Yeah.
And then I'm curious. And how does this connect to the autonomous corridor that we're working on, and will that help? Will this help the public see that in an even broader light?
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, I hope that it becomes sort of synergistic and essentially advocates for what we're trying to do with the autonomous corridor project, which, for those who don't know, Magic and DDT have invested considerable resources into scanning the whole downtown area. We've scanned so far from Longwell up to McDaniel and a few blocks width of that in terms of like the alleys and the other side streets. So we have a drone aerial scan, we have ground LiDAR scans, and the idea is that we're going to have a digital twin of the city that creates like a smart city infrastructure and the basis for an autonomous shuttle system that could eventually be deployed so that there's like public transportation in the city that is essentially door to door, and you use your phone to call the autonomous shuttle to your door. It would only function within the corridor, being the whatever we've scanned, and eventually the whole city would be part of that corridor. So we would want to get like Carroll Lutheran Village, connected to as far as actually beyond the city to the Carroll Community College and the YMCA down there as part of that route. In terms of how they're connected to this project, I mean, we will be teaching some of the same concepts like digital twins and connected autonomous vehicles and how that all works from this facility. And the city, they're preparing a statement now, from what I understand, in support of ARIC and the autonomous corridor project. But ultimately, the city needs to decide on a budget for the autonomous corridor project, because it's a fairly big project, and we got through phase one without their financial. I mean, the city provides financial support to Magic, but in terms of that specific project, we've asked them to provide funding directly to that project, separate from Magic, to fund all the vendors and contractors that would be needed to build it out, including like buying smart LiDAR, radar cameras for the intersections so that they can be connected and talk to the vehicles, all that kind of good stuff. So they are working that out, and I know DDT has presented them a proposal that is a fairly low cost, incremental, sort of phase 1.2 instead of like a big phase 2 proposal. Which they did not approve. We did propose the one large phase 2 proposal that they did not approve.
Can you say what that number is, or it's not public? Yeah. I'm just curious, what it costs to do.
Oh, it was public because I presented it. It was $2 million, something like that. $3 million. It approached $3 million for phase 2. We then kind of edited the numbers down to like 1.5, and now the proposal that's on the table is only like $150K just to do like one intersection and get something online where they can actually talk to vehicles. So, come on in. Anyway, so that's it for the ARC update. Any other questions? Yes, Rick.
From the like high school students, how do you see the high school? Two questions. First, the high school students. How do you
Well-
see them interacting with?
Well, we got 3 letters of support for this project when we did our grant proposal. One was from Pi Cubed Robotics, one was from Boys and Girls Club, and one was from Carroll County Public Schools. And we met with Brian Shoemaker, who's the STEM coordinator for Carroll County Public Schools, yesterday as well with Rose and Pi Cubed organization over there to basically start planning out like what do we need in place to accommodate field trips and students who want to come over there, and either stuff during the day or stuff like extracurricular after school. We're talking about building workbenches and building bleachers. So like this picture here, you don't have everyone sitting on the floor, you know, or in chairs. We could actually have some bleachers set up. And this will probably end up being raised, like a real train garden would be off the floor with like plexiglass around it. But yeah, so that's the plan. We are trying to design the curriculum and the programming to accommodate the K through 12 and college students. And then of course any after school programs like Together We Own It or Boys and Girls Club, having them have access to the space would be part of the plan.
Cool. The second question is, do you see any animosity or friction between the Peep Show and Duckytown?
And the rubber duckies?
Yeah, I mean, just a lot of ducks, a lot of birds in town.
Yeah, no, I see what you mean now.
I'm sure there's a partnership, collaboration.
Yeah, something's gonna go
The
down.
autonomous pizza
Something's
maybe,
gonna
something
go
like
down,
that.
yeah.
Yeah,
At some
just-
point, something's gotta
Yeah.
give. Town's not big enough for one
I know. Peeps versus
cute
ducks.
bird like
Yeah. So,
figurine.
where do the TV stations go?
Yeah.
That is a conundrum.
Yeah, well, maybe we actually did talk about being like a peep town, right? Like actually borrowing that and instead of using the rubber duckies, using peeps, but Ducky Town is actually it's a foundation that's, you know, it's trademarked, it's licensed. So as part of an official partnership with them, we would be getting their permission to essentially use the logo, which of course features the ducky, and then all the little, we get sort of I think it's almost like an endless supply of rubber duckies as part of the
Which is important. You can never
And
have
the reason
too
why
many
it's rubber duckies, just so you know, is because basically to scale of the robot, it's as though this is like a Tesla and this is a person. And so it will not run into the rubber duckies on the roads.
Why they chose ducks were not.
Yeah, I think it's just
Sure.
because they could get them and they were relatively to scale. Anyway, any other questions about ARC? So this is all community updates, just so you know, Jenna. Our speaker backed out today because they lost power. So anybody else want to come up and do an update? I can switch the screen to a browser and pull up any website you need.
Rick's looking at me like I gotta talk about
I know you've got an update.
I
That's
got
why you're
it.
here,
I
right?
know, everybody knows.
No, that's actually not why. I was afraid you would think that. I try to come here. I'm lame on mornings.
We appreciate that you're here.
It's too early.
I do. It's
Let me
look like
pull
I
up-
come from the biz challenge. That's not true.
Should I put the Biz Challenge website or a
If
different
you want
page?
to.
Do you have like an announcement page?
The finalists are there on the page now. What's going on, everybody? I'm Steve from 127 Creative, and today the Carroll Biz Challenge. And we're giving away more money this year than ever before. $10,000 cash prize plus lots and lots more of goods and services donated by good people, like a lot of people in this room. A lot of people in this room, actually. I don't think you're donating. You should just kidding. I'm just. I'm asking. And then there's the $2,022 People's Choice Award, and then there's the United Way Changemaker Award, which is $2,500 this year, and that will go to. There's 44 applicants this year. The United Way will choose one of those 44 to give that Changemaker Award to whoever they deem to be like who they think is going to make the biggest impact in the community. And then on August 18th at the Carroll Arts Center, the 5 finalists, which we just announced yesterday, will present their ideas before the live audience and a panel of 4 judges. and the judges will decide who gets that big grand prize, and then the audience will decide who gets the People's Choice Award. So the 5 finalists are Botanigal. She's doing plants and horticultural like therapy and stuff, and making the world better through plants. Collision Course is a soul food restaurant who's building out what used to be Artisan. Thank you. Right now, Goose Ridge Soaps are kind of crushing it right now with making soaps in their basement, and they have a pretty big vision for that. Organic, healthy things for your skin that don't have a bunch of chemicals that will kill you. Patapsco Biomedical, this guy has created a medical device. So apparently when you're at the hospital dying and you need fluid, they give this drip thing to you. And crazy enough, like when you're really in bad shape, you need like more fluid faster. And they have to go and hold these bags and like squeeze the bag like a tube of toothpaste to get that in your system faster. And this guy's like, why don't we like make something to do? So he made this apparatus that kind of twists the bag like a tube of toothpaste and makes all that flow. So that's kind of cool. And then Selmer Ironworks, he is a blacksmith in Tawny Town. It's got a pretty good sized facility where he really wants to make it a destination for people to come and like do cool things with metal and fire and work with their hands. And that's everybody. That's the 5. So those guys will present on August 18th, and I sure hope that you guys come and get your tickets at carolbizchallenge.com.
August 15th. Wait, why does it say 15th on the logo and 18th on the live finale?
That is a really good question, and I thank you for pointing that out while we're on. Right now.
Well, I was also going to point out Jason Selmer's name.
I have no idea.
It's SLLNDR and it's SL.
Yeah, thank you. Any other critiques? Go ahead, keep going.
That's all I got.
Anyway, none of that matters. The only thing that matters is that you come on August 18th. So any questions about all that?
Since I put you up there, I have a question.
Yeah.
Or Mike from the chamber was in his glory because of the locations of all these folks for Carroll County.
True.
Right?
Actually, there's a couple cool things about the diversity here. It is all around the county. I mean, we've got, if you scroll back to so we've got Botanigal is in Sykesville, Collision Course is here in Westminster, Goose Ridge, Hampstead, right? And then Patapsco,
Manchester.
I knew it was something different. And Selmer's Tawny Town. So it's like the county is, represented. And I mean, it's not a whole bunch of white dudes this year. We got a couple of white dudes, but we also have an interracial couple with Collision Course. Goose Ridge are partnership of 2 women. Botanigal is gal, and so Biomedical, and then Selmer are both white dudes, which we were fine with that. But it's a nice diversity.
Carroll County.
So it is Carroll County, right? I mean, gotta have a couple white dudes in there. Anything else? Can I sit down?
Yeah, by all means.
Please, Steve.
I don't think it was like that, but I think we got a problem.
Check the cards.
No, I know it's.
That's why you went in and missed it.
I think I know what happened there.
Does anybody else have any updates?
I don't have an.
Not really.
Evan, do you have an update?
Nothing too big. I guess I'm sponsoring the Biz Challenge now.
He is.
So,
Oh, really?
I
Hey.
get a free video from Evan Davis Media.
Nice.
It's the first time that an applicant has sponsored the Biz Challenge.
That'll be fun. You know, that'll be
That's
cool.
very
Yeah.
cool.
That is cool.
Looking forward to that.
All right, cool. Any updates, Rick?
I have only a comment, really. I think I mentioned last time we just got back from vacation. There were lots of opportunities for us to tip, and we did not have cash.
We need
So,
to tip.
yes. we need to tip.
I got progress. We need to,
There you go.
yeah. And I'll soon present another. I don't want you to think that all I do is come up with ideas. But
Stick with one laptop.
no, I want the one that's someone's gonna like. Here's a bunch of money.
So-
Like it's a smorgasbord. Like you get to pick which one
What
you
you should
like.
do is start a venture studio where you can do lots of ideas.
I've thought about that. Yeah.
And so we had a call with an old colleague of mine, and in the hospitality industry, and I thought it went very
It
well.
was great.
Very validating, pushing back on.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
It was good.
yeah. So he's just
And I
got
have some answers
work to do.
for that. Yeah.
Tina, do you have any updates?
Yes.
Come on, should I pull up Action for Kindness or Be Kind?
Um,
Love?
The Rotary? It's Rotary, actually.
Rotary? Is it the Facebook page?
If you go to Facebook and search Rotary Music Festival, we have an event this Saturday. Whoop, whoop. It's going to be beautiful weather. It's going to be great. So after you go to the farmer's market and get your veggies, come on out to Carroll Community College for the first ever Rotary Music Festival. We're going to have an eclectic amount of music from 11 to 5. So we're going to have country, and then we're going to have rock, and then we're going to have hip hop. We're actually going to have the Old Line Statesmen, the barbershop chorus from Westminster, who is going to be on the stage from 11:30 to noon, and they're going to sing the national anthem, open us up. We have food trucks. We've got Rollin' Smoke Barbecue and Wetzel's Pretzels, the new pretzel people in town. Yum, yum. We have a sponsor for Rita's. So if you bring a donation, it's a donation-based event. So we're asking, Rotary is all about community and how we can serve the community. But we also want to be able to monetarily support the community. So we're asking for donations, $10 per person if you can do that, and 3 perishable food items for Carroll Food Sunday, because they're going to be there also. So it's like, bring some food and a couple of bucks and come enjoy some tunes and some kids crafts. We're going to have the Bee Association is going to be there with, little bee things that the kids can make for your head, little bee crowns. And Action for Kindness is going to be there with color your own Be Kind signs. And there's some other crafts that are going to be happening as well. Share Hope Through Art is going to be there with a craft. So we're going to have kids crafts, we'll have food trucks, we'll have music, and you'll get to meet people that you normally wouldn't meet in your community because it's all kinds of different music. So come on out, 11 to 5 on Saturday. That's the Rotary Music Festival down at the college. Thank you. You're welcome. And then one last thing, if you could go to actionforkindness.org, please. I had said last time that actionforkindness.org gave out its first grant. We were excited that it was a grant for a Youth Changing the World summer camp. And we attended it yesterday, and they painted some Be Kind signs, but we were just so impressed with what they were doing there. It's a first ever, and it's the project called Youth Changing the World is a 1-week free camp dedicated to service learning and social justice. So it's their first time doing it. It was sold out, so I think they're going to look to expand it. I'm grateful that Action for Kindness got to be a part of that, and we were able to give them a grant to hold this camp. So if anyone else is having any kind of camps or events that are similar in nature, where we can help put kindness to action, go on the website, actionforkindness.org, let us know. We'll see if we can't support you in some way. And we're also working with Magic on the second part of our initiatives through the nonprofit organization to put together the app, the walking, riding app that not only gamifies finding the Be Kind signs, but then also connects our community so that you know that next to this sign is this group of neighbors that you might not have been aware of, and you need to meet because they're doing good works in the community and could possibly use your help. That's what the utility of the app is going to be. So we're excited that things are happening. That's our thing.
Well, I'll just comment on the last thing she said. What happened was Magic was able to make a deal with a university in Estonia to have students basically build apps for local entrepreneurs here. So this has been several months in the process, but eventually they came back, and this is all through. I don't know if anyone knows Tom Bayard, who's retired from the Army National Guard, right? And he's the whole reason why Estonia is or Paide Estonia is a sister city
Estonia is a sister city
of Westminster. Anyway, so he has this connection, and her name is Marie Tallman in Estonia. I think she's with Taltech or Taltech. She actually came and visited Westminster a few years ago, apparently, and did like a residency with the city as part of this sister city arrangement. Anyway, she's the one who then offered to pair entrepreneurs here in Westminster with student developers in Estonia. So essentially, we're going to have a handful of entrepreneurs here get free app development. Now, we don't know exactly how advanced they will be or how far they'll get the apps, in terms of minimum viable product and that kind of stuff. But I think it's going to be extremely helpful, especially for people who don't have any app developer resources. So there's still time, Steve, by the way, for us to pitch them ZipTip if you will need help. So this is going to all kick off in September, and I think by November is when they're planning on having these projects done. So the students will have a couple of months to quickly do like a design sprint and get something that's actually functional up and running. So
We're excited. Thank you.
yeah,
so
no,
much.
it's
I have a quick question about the app actually.
Yes.
So you mentioned having like blurbs about like your neighbors that do stuff for the community. Can you talk about that a little more? I was a little confused. Like, what does that mean exactly?
Well, right now, for instance, the Be Kind signs are helping positive people connect. They're buying a sign and putting it on their porch or their fence, and then it helps because positive people sometimes are just going about their day and but they're not necessarily good at connecting. And so, for instance, when I was a working mom, I was all about my family and going to work and coming back. And I would rarely have time to actually, unless it was a cause that was put in front of me, give any support to something that was happening, even if it was in my community right down the street. And then when my kids grew up and I was like, oh wow, all these positive people are doing things right down the street and I wasn't even aware. It just wasn't in my purview at the time. So hopefully that's the type of connection this app is gonna give. When you're in a cyber world and in a bubble world, because that's just your lifestyle right now, hopefully it'll help you understand that you're physically in a community that can not only support you but then also need your support.
Yeah.
And that yin and yang of living in a space.
So if I put a sign up outside my house and someone clicks on it, will they do like a description? It's like, this sign was put up by Evan Davis, who does blank and blank in the community, or how would that best?
We're working on those details. It'll be permission based as to whether you're even on the app. Businesses definitely, locations, homes with farms with fences. We're working on the details of making sure that the app's going to be the functionality of here's how you can connect. Whether you want to or give permission to is another section that we're still going to be working on. Yeah.
We'll be excited for it.
Anybody else have updates? I actually just wanted to share real quick, if nobody else has an update. I don't know if any of you know about the Shakemore Festival here in Westminster. It's relatively underground, but it gets a lot of people from around the world come out for it. I'm just going to pull up there because it's coming up soon. And David Fair is the coordinator, and so it's on Tom Sterner's property. Hold on, let me find. So it's at 235 Lepo Road on July 29th and July 30th. I think it starts sometime in the afternoon on the 29th. They were known 6 to 10 p.m. on 29th, and then July 30th it's noon to 10 p.m. And these are all the bands. It's like, from what I've gathered, there are a lot of sort of independent. Maybe some are punk, maybe some are folk, but they might be like just sort of arts, kind of art rock sometimes as well. Bands I'm sure most of you probably haven't heard of, but all the more reason to kind of go out and check it out. I think it's going to be really eclectic and fun. But anyway, that's called Shakemore, and it's been happening for the last several years, quietly under our radar, as I understand it, because no one I really talked to in the community has ever heard of it. But meanwhile, people from like DC, and I think people fly in from other countries to come to this festival, and they get well over 1,000 people a day at this festival. So,
That's cool.
yeah, I saw on their Facebook post they were talking about like trying to find transportation. They're like, "Is there a train station in Westminster? How do I get to Westminster?" I was like, "Oh boy."
And autonomous vehicle shuttles.
Right? Yeah. Well, people were saying, "Oh, go to Baltimore, take the metro station, transfer at Lexington Market, go to Owings Mills, and then Uber from Owings Mills." And I guess the other way is actually take a MARC train from DC to Frederick, and then from Frederick you could Uber here as well. But that's, there really is no easy way to get to Westminster, and that's a problem. Depending on who you talk to, I suppose. Also, I just want to say, I had a great experience with Jenna, who's here today. My son, Luke, is an aspiring actor, and we took advantage of her mini headshot sessions over at Together Studios. And for a very fair price, we got a bunch of great headshots for Luke. 2 of them, we selected for his theatrical and commercial. We put them online. We went to Taylor Royal Casting and Backstage, and within like 2 weeks, he got his first acting job, and it's a paid acting job. He's doing a commercial for the DC Metro. Actually, speaking of Metro, for the DC Metro, where he's playing a fare evader who's trying to jump the turnstile and not pay for the fare to take the MARC train or the Metro, whatever it is.
Public service.
Public service announcement. It's going to be like a series of them in DC. It's called DC Metro Manners is the name of the PSA campaign. So thank you to Jenna for great headshots. And they really are. The headshots are working well. They're getting him lots of auditions.
Awesome.
Anything else? Any other updates?
We have a few comments on
Oh.
Facebook. Nick Bartel from Startup Portals says that Startup Portal has power and internet, and anyone who needs a space to work today can do so free of charge.
So
And
if your power and internet are out,
You're not watching this?
you're not watching this, but anybody else here needs internet and power. Yeah.
Maybe I should have brought that up.
Come on.
You watching on
Yeah,
this?
actually, yeah, phones are still working. People are still watching.
Or if you're watching, you know somebody who needs access to power internet, Startup Portal is generously
I just
offering
need to
their
do it
offices.
At midnight?
Yeah.
Yeah, and for those of you who don't know, go startupportal.com, but it's, what's the address on
532 Baltimore.
532 Baltimore
Boulevard.
Boulevard, which is 140, kind of near the McDonald's, it's on 140. Any other comments?
Yes, we have one more from Judith Beers from Share Hope Through Art, that she is hosting their first community meeting on preventing deaths of despair on September 14th at 10 a.m. So I guess you could see that on the Share Hope Through Art
Yeah, let me go there.
Facebook page.
Yeah, Judith, I got your messages about that. Sorry I hadn't responded yet. Share.
We've been a little busy the last couple of days.
Wait, is this the right one? No. Is that it? Yes. Oops. So this is the event page here. Is this it? Is this the one she's talking about? September 14th?
Yes.
So there you go. September 14th, 10 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. at Exploration Commons. So please register for that and support Judith and her causes for Share Hope Through Art. All right, well, we'll wrap up, and you guys have plenty of time to sort of hang out and talk and drink coffee and eat bird baked goods. But Tina, do you want to?
You must feel? Sure.
Yeah.
So we are a community of entrepreneurs, and we're here as a resource for other entrepreneurs to help build our community. It's an awesome opportunity. We're running on high-speed fiber. We're going to have autonomous running and connecting us, hopefully sooner, hint, hint, council. Yeah, it's amazing that our Westminster community decades ago had a vision to be able to connect with fiber. And the things that are springing up from that are amazing, including the ability for entrepreneurs to connect. So that's part of what 1 Million Cups is all about. If you want to connect, if you're an entrepreneur, if you just have an idea and you're just not sure where the resources are, go to 1millioncups.com, the number 1millioncups.com/Westminster, click apply to present. It takes a couple of sentences. We'll help you figure it out. You don't know what a pitch deck is? We'll help you figure that out too. And sometimes we have 1%, sometimes we have 2, and next time it could be you. Let's connect. Take care.